LA is special as an art scene because it's always changing and transforming, and I think it's what makes it such a special place to work in, to live in, and be inspired by. There are great artists who work in Los Angeles. There's a history of great artists who have lived here. This exhibition at MOCA, highlighting the collection, Mapping an Art World, attempts to look at this history from specifically the 70s and 80s, looking at the art scene through the history of MOCA. When MOCA was established in 1979, hard to believe that it's been almost 40-some years and that it continues to transform with the times. And I think that's what makes MOCA exciting, that as a contemporary art museum, we're kind of at the edge of what artists are doing. We have to keep up with the way that artists are working, and we're very excited to be an institution that's dedicated, solely dedicated to contemporary art here in Los Angeles. The collection that you're seeing actually behind me are seminal works by pop artists. So Clay Oldenburg with the store sculptural elements on the wall, and 2 paintings by James Rosenquist. And those specifically came from the Ponza collection, a really wonderful Italian count and collector who amassed a really important collection of contemporary art. And it was through his personal relationships that he collected in depth. And so MOCA is very happily the recipient of these works. And so nowhere in the city can you see the number of works that you see here that are dedicated to pop art on the one hand, which is really the anchor of this exhibition. And then across the way, in the other wing, we have another collection exhibition called Long Story Short, curated by my colleague Anna Katz, and that's really beginning with the abstract expressionist kind of anchor of the post-war collection. So the Jackson Pollocks, our infamous Rothkos, Franz Klein, many other works like Twombly, Lee Krasner. We wanted to point to these histories, but also to look at, contemporary artists and have contemporary artists have made work throughout the decades. And so as you move through the exhibition, you're looking at different groups of artists who would have had a relationship to each other or through other similarities. Conceptual art, body and performance art is another kind of thread in this part of the exhibition, as well as the kinds of galleries and art schools that were important to those early years of the Los Angeles art scene in the 70s. David Lamelas decided that, he was going to invite artists to his studio and did very kind of, your typical, very classical kind of portrait in graphite in pencil. So he made these portraits of these artist friends and then animated. What's sitting next to them is an animation through an old-fashioned kind of slide projection carousel. And so what you see is the portrait of the sitter and exactly what you said, who they are and when it was made. And it's a kind of who's who of the art world, and there's some familiar names and people who are still in the art world today.
Whether you've never been to MOCA and you're a first-time visitor, or you're a long-time member that's been to MOCA a million times, now is really a momentous occasion to visit because it's a rare occasion in which our entire building here at Grand Avenue is occupied by our permanent collection. They can expect to see sculptural works and painting, as well as more interactive works. We've also tried to incorporate photography throughout the exhibit, rather than relegating it to its own space by incorporating photographic works into almost every gallery in the show.
One of the treats of working with a collection as a curator is to uncover these treasures. And one of them is Al Ruppersberg's Zoetrope. And it's a work that had been in storage for decades and decades, since his show in the mid-'80s at MOCA Geffen. And that's one of a number of works that we decided to pull out of dust off, pull out of deep storage, really kind of repair it so that it's functioning, and to, ultimately bring it to light, bring it into the gallery so that we can share it with audiences. It's a very rudimentary kind of motion graphic, as you can see. I think it'll be very foreign to many people, especially of a younger generation, that's hand-drawn. And then when you step on a pedal, a motor churns this structure and animates the drawing into a fountain that's moving. So we want visitors to imagine a moment in time going back to, a relatively recent past and how much things have changed. So we hope that visitors think about their relationship to the city as well.
There are many underrepresented or previously never before seen works and also stories that we're telling here in this exhibit. One of those is of Brockman Gallery, which was one of the first Black-owned galleries in the United States that was located in Lemare Park, which is on the south side of Los Angeles and was opened by brothers Alonzo Davis and Dale Brockman Davis that operated from 1967 to 1990. That gallery in particular really goes to show the history that was previously underrepresented about Black artists working in LA and bringing recognition to those artists. I would recommend this exhibit to anyone in LA, not only because it represents a rich art history of the city, but also a history of the city itself.
Having the support of LA County and being part of LA County is, I think, crucial to who we are as an institution. We certainly hope that people all over the county feel welcomed at MOCA. We have great educational programs working with the public school system, the LAUSD system, and we really hope that MOCA is used as a resource for everyone in the county.